What's up, everybody? I'm JT Magnum along with Siggy Guns, and welcome to the fourth quarter. Show where we run 4 topics in under 10 minutes, and let's get this started now.
Go.
Packers Seahawks just finished, and the Seahawks begin their repeat run with a huge, big victory over the Packers. It was in dominating fashion, too. Aaron Rodgers really couldn't do anything. The defense was all over the place, flying over the field, LOB as usual. Richard Sherman didn't even get a ball thrown his way. And just utter dominance by Seattle. What do you think of Seattle so far and the early going?
Whew, Percy Harvin looks like that offense is going to make that offense just awesome. I mean, They were tricked. The Green Bay's defense was looking foolish out there on a couple of plays, and it was all because Harvin was in the center of it. They didn't know if they should go after him or not, and it just left a whole bunch of plays wide open. It was crazy how those bluffs worked. It was like college. It looked like a college game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. I was like, they're running college plays. Like it was like running a college offense out there, and Green Bay just looked lost. I mean, they couldn't stop Marshawn Lynch, and if they ran him, they were running Harvin right after him, and then when they weren't running, they were pass faking. It was like they didn't know what they were doing. Green Bay didn't know what Seattle was going to do, and you got to give credit to the offensive coordinator for Seattle, who just called if you can call a perfect game, I would call that almost a perfect game. I mean, they did get lucky on a couple, dropped interceptions for Green Bay. Green Bay dropped a couple of them, which you can't do. You can't make mistakes against Seattle, and that's what they did. They made a lot of mental mistakes, a lot of holding penalties, a lot of defensive holding penalties that they made at the wrong times, offensive holding penalties when they get a big play on the passing game. It was just like one after the other. They were shooting themselves in the foot, and then more injuries pile up as Eddie Lacy gets a concussion as well. It's like,
I wasn't high on Eddie Lacy for fantasy wise, and and that was the funny thing about it. At the beginning of the game, fantasy wise, everybody was mad that all these people like Kuhn were getting touchdowns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then Lynch turned it on, and like I said, the Seahawks just looked great. Of course, that's them at home. They always look great at home. Their real first test is going to be on the road, and we'll see what kind of team they are on the road. But I don't see how they don't repeat just based on what we've seen so far in preseason and now the first game. I mean, so far they look like they really are the best team right now.
Yeah, they look good. So moving on to topic number 2, Wes Welker gets suspended 4 games for HGH. What do you think about that one?
No, it wasn't HGH.
Was it HGH? It wasn't HGH? Which one was it?
No, it was Molly and amphetamines.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
oh, that's right, amphetamines. And you know what's funny is that they said today, was it today, that he actually wouldn't, under the new NFL policy, which you're trying to get, a new NFL policy for the Players Union, he wouldn't have been suspended for taking that because it's not really technically a drug it's not really technically like a drug that actually enhances you. It just wakes you up, I believe.
Yeah, well, what happened? The story is pretty funny. All right, so in the Kentucky Derby, he was handing out $100 bills as he was leaving. Now, apparently, that was the day he failed that test. So he was high when he was giving out the money. And there was another thing, that's what came out, is that they think that maybe he's saying that somebody might have slipped him something at the Kentucky Derby. And that's why he was acting strange, and that's why he failed that test. So it was a situation.
It sounds like it's all over the place.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, 100%. But in the end, it did happen a while back. The Broncos knew about it apparently for all this time. They just didn't know when they were going to finally bring the ban hammer. But I don't think it was that big of a deal. He wound up getting a concussion. It wound up being like perfect timing for him anyways. He wasn't probably going to play for a couple of weeks regardless.
Yeah, so it'll give him some time to rest up. They have Emmanuel Sanders. I believe they'll probably be fine. But at the same time, it's like, what is going on with Wes Welker in the last couple of years? Like, he's just with concussions and now this with the Broncos just can't seem to catch a break. It's like one thing after another. But this whole drug policy thing for the NFL, I mean, it's gotten very, very strange. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that going forward. But the next topic, Are the San Francisco 49ers in trouble? Because once again now well,
Legal
first
trouble.
first first with the Alden Smith thing. I mean, he got in trouble with the law. He did the 5 games last year on his own in rehab. Missed 5 games. The 49ers were 5-0 during that period, and all of a sudden now with the domestic abuse case with Ray Rice, Goodell hands Alden Smith a 9-game suspension. It just seems like he just said, you know what, I messed up with Ray Rice, but I'll make it up with Alden Smith. And then next thing you know, Ray McDonald, right after having Goodell make a new policy saying 6-game automatic suspension and a banishment for the second offense, Ray McDonald from the 49ers gets arrested for domestic abuse. So the truth hasn't unfolded yet, so there's no suspension as of yet, and we don't know what's going to happen. But I will say this, if Ray McDonald is found guilty, he would not be a member of the San Francisco 49ers. He's going to get cut immediately. So there won't be, and he'll have to go to another team and get suspended from them.
Yeah, that's the dilemma that obviously, the NFL is in, because now they made this policy. Here's a case where you're gonna have to suspend it, but now teams are gonna want to deal with that. Yeah, I mean, that's a half a season, or not half a season, but 6
Dallas
games.
will
That's
take
a lot. And I mean, unless it was somebody big, like Alden Smith, he's gonna have some leeway. Obviously he's a great player, but. This is just bad all around. I'm not sure how. I don't know why everybody kind of bashed the whole Ray Rice decision. I mean, I don't see. They keep trying to pit it up against the Josh Gordon thing, like it's the same, like it's two extremes or whatever. The thing is with Josh Gordon is that he failed like multiple tests. It wasn't his first time. So, that's the reason why his was a season long versus Ray Rice being only 2. And I just think that the pressure, though, of people having these 2 players, Ray Rice and Josh Gordon, made it to where now Goodell is just suspending for way longer than he should on a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Alden Smith, that's 14. That's really 15 or 13 games.
14 games in 2 years now because of that. And I just think I think it was a little too harsh. But I think, are the 49ers in trouble? Not really. I think they have defensive guys that they can plug in. They have a really good bench. They have got quality guys that are backups that can play. And I think they're going to get tested early, but I think they'll be fine. So moving on, Josh Shaw from USC says he jumped out of a window and saved his little nephew or cousin or who knows what it was. I don't remember. A little boy basically drowning in a pool. Turns out, and then he says that if he had a chance, he'd do it anytime. He'd do it for any kid. Saying, basically making himself out to be this huge hero. Turns out he lied. The story was fabricated, and no one knows. I mean, to this minute, no one even knows how he broke his ankles. but somehow somehow he sprained his ankles badly.
A whole bunch of stuff. Apparently, the cops were involved. Apparently, there was a robbery that took place, and they saw somebody that looked like him jump off a balcony to get away from the police. I mean, no one knows what's going on, but yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy. This is a lot worse than the what's his name, the Notre Dame guy,
the Manti Te'o, which is really funny actually. I read a meme the other day, what do you call a meme or whatever you call those things. I read one the other day saying Josh Shaw jumped off the balcony to save Manti Te'o's girlfriend's nephew, or nephew's son, or something like that. Oh, that was one of the funniest memes I've read. The memes, that's what it's called. But anyways.
Yeah, memes.
But yeah, this it's just a weird story, and the guy, I can't believe, like, why would you make something like that up not knowing that you're going to get busted? Like, people like immediately question the story, like the way it happened, because obviously the kid wasn't around. No one said anything, and there's just no story there. So why would you? I don't get it. But it looks like he's going to.
He didn't want the truth to come out about his ankles. I mean, obviously if the police story checks out and that winds up being true, it's going to be a lot worse for him because.
Oh yeah. And what are you out doing? What are you doing out robbing people when you're on the USC football team with a bright future? And I mean, are they not like taking care of their players enough where he has to go out robbing people? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I have no clue. It's crazy. I can't wait to find out what the full story is on this because
Yeah,
I
keep an
just
eye
can't
on that
imagine.
story because it's just a weird, weird story. So, well, this this show's coming to a close. Let us know in the comment section. Um, it's just too funny. It's just too funny. Let us know in the comment section what you think of all the topics we discussed. What you guys think about the Packers Seahawks game, Wes Welker situation, the Aldon Smith and the 49ers situation, along with Ray McDonald, and of course Josh Shaw jumping out of the building to save Manti Te'o's girlfriend's son. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section about that. And don't forget to leave feedback and leave us also if you want a topic discussed on the fourth quarter. Please feel free to let us know what that is, and we will oblige you the best we can. So with JT Magnum and Siggy Guns, fourth quarter, we out. Peace, y'all.
Peace.